Arsenal conquered against Sunderland at the Emirates Stadium, defeating their opponents by 3-0. Yet, that wasn't enough for them to consolidate a title gap in the title race, especially when we realize that Man City went to Anfield and did a marquee job by defeating Liverpool by 2-1. Yet, Arsenal's attention will be focused at going to the Bees at the GT Community Stadium where they will be playing against the Bees. And if you could recall, let's take a moment of history and look at when Arsenal played against the Bees for the very first time in 1902. That was in an FA Cup clash, where it was a two-legged match where Arsenal played the first match and the result was a goalless draw. In the second match, Arsenal triumphed over the Bees by a lone goal, defeating them in that second leg of the FA Cup match. And down the years, Arsenal played against the Bees, who were coming back from the sojourn in the Championship for the first time on August 13, 2021. It was an EPL opener, and everyone thought Arsenal were going to defeat the Bees, especially when you look at the players that were signed then. We had Bernard Leno, we had Ben White playing for us, and we all thought Arsenal was going to coast clear in this match. But somehow, the Bees took us to the cleaners, defeating Arsenal by 2-0. In that game, two players came to the record in scoring two massive goals against Arsenal, and everyone within the banter zone and the fan zone, everybody was upset at the way Arsenal capitulated in that match. And Sergi Cannon and Christian Nogard were the guys that scored against us. And then yes, Christian Nogard now is a goner playing for Arsenal. There are a lot of things that's really transpired between these two sides, and somehow Arsenal have been having a cameo over them victories when you look at the head-to-head. But somehow they've also proven to be a really buggy team for Arsenal. Because in one of the title races that we bottled, they happened to be the team that also created a stalemate for us at the Emirates when we were supposed to beat them. We could recall that offside goal scored by Ivan Toney, which the VAR did not take cognizance of. But somehow it happened to be one of the matches that really cost us the title race that season. But down the years, now Andrew Keats is the guy that is in charge of the Bees, and he happened to be the set-piece coach following the movement of Thomas Frank to Spurs. And now that is why they're so formidable when it comes to set-piece. And the chief culprit and tormentor-in-chief happened to be Michael Coyote, that rifle-back player. That guy, sometimes you wonder when he throws in those balls as if he's playing a corner kick or a free kick. But it is what it is. Every team have to deploy whatever they need to deploy in order to get an edge over their opponents. And those are the things that Arsenal have to look out for in this game coming up on Thursday against the Bees. It's going to be a testy and feisty match, especially when they're coming from that resounding victory over Newcastle at the Magpie Stadium. And it's going to be a really tough one and testy one, having the likes of Odiango, and the likes of Thiago, Thiago, Nathan Collins, Keller. These are key players that they have on the team, and it's really going to be a tough one. But looking at the formation of Andrew Kate, the way he plays the 4-4-1-1 formation is something that Arsenal need to be wary of. They play a lot of emphasis on defensive solidity and compact midfield. Now, one thing about their game is that Thiago is really being proficient, and the way he plays in front of goal, he takes his chances. Today, you can reckon him as one of the top goal scorers in the EPL, and he's doing everything possible to ensure that he gets a call-up to the Sambas national team when they be going to the World Cup. If you look at on paper today, he happens to be one of the most formidable players, even scoring more goals than João Pedro and the likes of Gabriel Jesus. But let's see how this team is really going to play against Arsenal in this game, because it is one game at a time for Arsenal. If they truly want to mount the challenge, looking at the way Man City are playing at the moment with a lot of confidence, Arsenal just need to focus on themselves, thinking about what they have to do correctly on and off the pitch, not minding what their closest rivals are doing in the league. Arteta thrives on the 4-3-3 formation, and it depends on collective responsibility by the entire team. But one of the things that's really been working against Arsenal this season is their clinicality in front of goal. That we saw some level of clinical approach from Victor Gyökeres, the way he has taken his chances and he's been playing very well, got a brace against Sunderland, and the team has been having some level of fluidity going forward, especially with the way Kai Havertz is playing. And that's why I said recently, like, it appears as if Kai Havertz is the linchpin and the jigsaw in the puzzle for Arsenal to unravel the way they play in the final third. But let us see how it's going to be. Going to turn out in this game. In case you're joining us for the very first time, it is still the Arsenal Fans being brought to you by Arsenal Fans globally. Wherever you are on the path of the globe, make it good to go to that subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and make sure you are the first to get every episode of every of our edition. Because at the end of the day, together we're going to be building a super and more, competitive community going forward. And we advise you that if you have a comment, go to the comment section, because we're going to be going to that position where we're going to be looking at the tactical board to look at team selection. And at the end of the day, we'll also come up with match prediction. So this match against these guys is going to be a truly tough one for Arsenal. Against the Beast, it's not going to be easy because you have the likes of Nathan Collins, who happens to be the captain now. You also have Henderson, who have a whole lot of experience. After his sojourn in Saudi, he went to the Dutch League and returned to the EPL again. And yet, he's a player that is also vying to ensure that he's on that plane to the World Cup next year. And let's see how it's going to turn out, because it is something that really, no, is it next year? The World Cup is this year, basically in June. And so I beg your pardon. So he's going to be doing everything possible. And he's the captain that's got a word of experience. And I'm sure he's going to be talking to his boys, telling them what to do, especially when he's the one that led the Liverpool side to win the Champions League and the Premier League. So he has a whole lot of experience on his kitty. And let us see how we're going to be turning out, because this is a match that Arsenal must do everything possible to win. So we're going to the tactical board now. Now, just like I said, Andrew Keith is going to be playing the 4-4-1-1 formation. And as expected, you're going to be having Callum Keller, the former reserve goalkeeper for Liverpool, being in goal post for them. Kayode is going to be somewhere around here. And I'm not too familiar with their players, but the key ones that I'm aware of, I know that Kayode is going to be there. So he's going to deploy 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 1 point supporting striker, and Igor Thiago will be at the helm of affairs. And one of the things they thrive on going forward is that they have a good defensive solidity. The midfield is always compact. They try as much as possible to get the ball to Igor Thiago. Thiago tries to do a lot of hold-up play where he brings the entire team into reckoning, and they try as much as possible to ensure that they are clinical in front of goal. And they win a lot of first balls. These are the things that Arsenal is going to be looking at to work against. Arsenal, in thriving at the GTEC Community Stadium, they need to win every first ball, because these guys are very good at winning the first ball. They are dominant in the air. So Arsenal need to really be solid. So how is Mikel Arteta going to turn up in this game? Because this is a make or mark game. This is a match that Mikel Arteta must do everything possible to ensure that he gets it right, because there is no room for slacking. But if you look at what Arteta said after that loss to United, he said that they have turned out and agreed that in the next 4 months, they're going to fight every passing match or every passing day to ensure that they get it right. Now, in goal, definitely is going to be David Raya in goal. Right full back is going to be Jurien Timber is going to be there. In the pack of the central defense is going to be William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes playing there. In the left full back position, I truly would have loved to see Calafiori playing, but that is one player that I don't want us to lose because of his attacking prowess. But looking at the way Brentford boys are going to be playing with a lot of dominance in the air, I need the warrior-like attitude of Piero Hincapié playing in this game. So I want to see him at that left back position. And ever in front of the defense is going to be the sub-line marker, the guy that is silent and doing a yeoman's job for the team. So far, he has got 5 Premier League goals. Talking about no other person than Zubimendi. And if you look at that, I told you some few minutes ago, I said Kai Havertz is bringing a lot of fluidity into the team, and it is important that we retain him, especially when Captain Fantastic Martin Odegaard is not available, and the person that would have been available to take that position is no other person than Berechese. But I want to see how, what's his name? Kai Havertz will be deployed into this team, because we saw his involvement in saving Arsenal from conceding a goal when David Raya dropped the ball and Bobby was almost finding the net, and he found himself in front of that ball and had that goal line clearance. So he is somebody that wants him, because he doesn't sit in one place. The way he plays in the pockets of the opponent's area is something that gives us an opportunity to try. So I want to see Kai Havertz playing there. You know, initially the match against Sunderland, we saw this young man, Trossard, playing that position. But because of the way Trossard got out of that match against Sunderland, I don't know if he actually had an injury. As at the time of recording this episode, no news have been heard about him, because I know the doctors are going to be checking him to know how he's faring. But if he's not feeling too good, it is an opportunity for Martinelli to come into this game. Martinelli will also do a yeoman's job, because we need to stop the forest of Kayode coming forward with those set piece play. Because if you have a direct player, a player that plays directly and try to take him, keep him on the edge, you will reduce the attacking formation of Brentford coming forward. So I want to see Martinelli play there. On the striking position, yes, even though we had Victor Gyökeres scoring a brace against Sunderland, it is also important for us to retain the daring playing attitude of Gabriel Jesus, because one thing defenders don't like is a player that doesn't sit in one place, especially strikers. When strikers drag them through the length and breadth of the pitch, they find it very difficult. And Gabriel Jesus is the man that can give you that opportunity for you to do a yeoman's job. The only thing we need to do on the day is for us to be clinical. So I want to see Gabriel Jesus there. Then thereafter, probably towards the 60 plus minutes, we can have Victor Gyökeres coming in. So at every point, what it means is that we're going to keep them at bay, because while they'll be trying to track Gabriel Jesus on the pitch and trying to handle Martinelli, we'll have the opportunity of doing the yeoman's job. So that is why we have Zubimendi getting that strike. The question is, how clinical are we going to be in front of goal? We need to stop playing too many lethargic passes in the final third. That is one thing that I don't like that we're doing. So let us just be clinical. You see the way United has been bullish in recent weeks when they're in front of goal. It's a sniper's rule. Just take your opportunity the way it comes. Even if it doesn't hit the target, but just keep doing it. Then you never can tell which is going to hit at the back of the net. Then the other person, with the absence of Bukayo Saka, who is still nursing a hip injury, I still want to see Madueke playing there. But Madueke need to learn something in this game. In as much as he's very good with his direct play, trying to take opponents to the cleaners, it is important for him to make his final ball count. The only marketing that he's doing at the moment that catches my fancy is his set piece. His delivery are very fantastic. But he needs to also make that delivery count when it takes his opponent to the byline, bringing that ball, releasing his ball on time. So this game, how's it going to turn out at the day? If Arsenal play the way that I've set up now and they are clinical in front of goal, there's a 3-goal win margin. Arsenal is going to be demolishing the Bees by 3-0 because it is a make or mar match and it's a must win for Arsenal. In case you have a contrary opinion, you just want to give us a different team selection, it's an opportunity for you to go to the comment section and just write, let us see what you're doing, what you intend, what your scoreline prediction is. Again, if you're joining us for the very first time globally, this is still the Arsenal Fans Beat. Don't forget, it is still the Arsenal Fans Beat. It is still, come on, you Gunners!